I like the way your body is. Is that too obvious? Okay, I like your confidence. I don't know the lyrics. Matches like Kehlani is. Hi guys. This is interesting. I'm by myself. As you know, the Quid Pro Bro Show. That's the name of the show, right, Junior? Quid Pro Bro Show. I gotta say that shit slow. Is usually me and my other half, Junior, whom I love so much. But this episode, I'd figure be it it's the 1 month anniversary of Crash, so we jump into uh, a very special guest. Well, she's not here, but as you can see, fresh off the Kehlani tour, it's Kehlani season. If you didn't know, got all the vinyls signed except Cloud 19. I don't have Cloud 19, but I'm gonna get that. And Crash isn't signed too because the signing was on this Sunday, and then the vinyl came out. Well, it was shipped to my house on Tuesday, so I couldn't get it signed. But this episode, we're talking all things Kehlani, as you can see. We're just going to tap into this album because I think it's been, well, not really, I think. It's evident that it's had a polarizing reception, and I could see why, but now that I've given it a little bit more time to breathe, I think it's unequivocally her best album, and we're just going to get into that because I'm sure a lot of you girlies is going to fight me on that, but I got evidence as to why I believe that. But before we get into that, we're in Philly, so I just find it very fitting to talk about what I didn't talk about because my first video actually on this channel was about Kehlani. So today we will start our episode with the one, the only, the most important, Kehlani. How many songs is that? That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bangers in a row. And Personal's next. She opened the album like, let me tell y'all something. I saw Kehlani 3.5 times last year. The halftime, don't ask me about. The 3 times though, the mic was on every single time. The microphone. And it's funny because in that video I said that I seen her half a time, and that was in Philly when during the Blue Water Road tour she had to stop the show multiple times. And I'm not a malicious person, but I remember feeling like Destin was on and it wasn't even that hot outside and nobody passed out. But as soon as Kehlani came on stage, everybody all of a sudden is feeling dehydrated. And I just feel like y'all was a little bit too fucked up. That's probably why y'all passed out. It wasn't because it was too hot. But we're past that. The impending tour is coming, and I just hope I can get tickets. When I conceptualized this episode, I thought that I'd have a full night's sleep, and I was in Queens last night, guys, getting the 3,000. So my brain is mashed potatoes right now. Bear with me. But let's get into Crash. So 1 month anniversary of Crash. Her best work, and the reason why I say that's her best work is because up until this point, as we all know, Kehlani is identified as bisexual, and this is her first album where she is using just exclusive pronouns that pertain to women. And I need y'all to tap in with me real quick because I think there's this misconception that Kehlani has been more attracted to men than she has been women. And she can only confirm or deny this, but if you go back as far as Cloud 19, right? It had 4 or so songs that were male oriented, and then First Position was the only song that featured she, her, and I think that that goes over a lot of y'all head because you got to think about when Cloud 19 came out. That was 2013 or 14, I think it was. So that considered, the climate was not what it is today, where there's a propensity to be a little more out and more open. Like I remember when I was in high school, there was like two gay niggas. And I can only imagine when my brother was in high school, like before that, like it wasn't like as accepted in a way as it is today, which I think for a lot of people is disconcerting because gay marriage got legalized and more visibility for sure. Like, and I'm not negating that by any means, but Kehlani came up in this time where you had to have or follow the heteronormative narrative. And I think that's what made her so front facing with the men that she dated. And a lot of y'all think the women was just kind of this fad. And if you asking me personally, I think that woman's always been a lesbian. Like that's just my personal opinion. And it's reflective in the music. And that's why I think this is her best album, because this is the most, all the Kehlani projects up until this point have kind of in some capacity not been a caricature of her, because that's who she is. Like she was and is not is. Oh, she was attracted to men. But I also think that, again, like post this album, the next project, whether it be R&B, because this album hasn't resonated with a lot of y'all because sonically it's a different avenue for her. Mark my words, that's going to be the Kehlani mixtape that she's been talking about, whatever, next full-length project, that's really going, because when she's able, not able, but now that she's going to be talking about just girls and she's going to be singing in a very R&B space or scope, presumably, if that's the direction that she goes in, is going to give y'all what maybe you felt like you were deprived of with this one. I think, oh, my bad. I think that what's difficult for a lot of you guys to comprehend is how sonically it's very different. It's a departure for her. That's obvious. But as she's been saying in all her interviews, if she's going to make the same project 7 projects in, she's doing a disservice to herself as an artist. So I just admire her for being able to venture out and keep it fresh too, because if you really think about it, this album is more cohesive than it was good until it wasn't. I know a lot of y'all just now was like, what? Hear me out. This album is existing in the same universe in a way that it was good until it wasn't, doesn't. And what I mean by that is that chronicles the stages of breakup, right? So to y'all, Toxic going into Can I makes sense, but it really doesn't if you're talking cohesion in some capacity, right? Because think about it. Toxic is like a, and then Can I is about busting it open. So I don't understand why y'all think that album makes more sense with the songs than this one does, when this whole album takes place in Vegas. Like beginning to end, it feels, I remember when I was in line for the not the after party, but the listening party, and I was talking to Taya. Taya's my witness. Taya's my witness. This is before all the interviews came out with Kehlani. And I was like, oh yeah, like, cause she was talking about how she didn't get Lose My Wife. And I was like, yeah, like, I just kind of feel like this album, it is encapsulated in the city, and from the beginning to the end, it makes sense by the time you get to Lose My Wife, where it kind of feels like an outro. And then Kehlani gets on all these interviews and says the exact same thing. And I'm like, bro, I see the vision. From the beginning, well, not from the beginning, by the time that I heard it and I was able to enjoy it. And even when the singles dropped, when Next to You came out, like, I thought it was good, but I didn't love it the way that I love it today. Same with After Hours. I know a lot of y'all loved After Hours right off the bat. Me, I was like, oh, this is cool. But then when I heard it in the context of the album, I was like, oh, I'm not getting it. You know what I mean? So song by song, I mean, Groove Theory. Another thing that I feel is incorrect about this album is that it's not, doesn't exist in the pocket that could be played in the club. Like, I believe other than Lose My Wife, Better Not, and really That's about it to me, to be honest with you. And I know it sounds crazy to some of you, like, oh, next to you in the club. Listen, how many times have you been out and the DJ has departed from all the turn up shit and then played Love by Keisha Cole and everybody's singing their hearts out? Like, it's the same shit. If more people knew next to you, that energetically would make sense in a club setting if you've been to the right club. Just saying. Same for Groove Theory. I could see Groove Theory being played in the club. I know somebody somewhere was just like, what? Groove Theory? Yes. Groove Theory. After Hours. Obviously could be played in the club. Crash. Up tempo. Like, 8. Come on. Susia, I feel like could be played in a brothel. I don't know if that's the same, but still that very sexy, sultry. Like I feel like it's given like Salma Hayek in From Dusk Till Dawn. Like that's what I get from Susia. Better Not, I don't think can really be played in the club. Like I feel like that would be okay. You got me there. Tears can be played in the club. Vegas, I'm on the fence about. I would say no, but even if Vegas came on, I think it is exciting enough, or at least sonically, it exists in a pocket where it wouldn't be far-fetched. But if you said Vegas can't be played in the club, okay, I'll accept that. Deep, I think Deep was made for a very lively environment, and that's not even really an opinion. That's just a fact. Chapel can't be played in the club. Let's be for real. And then same with Lose My Wife. So all in all, I don't know why you guys, or just a lot that feels like this album was very chaotic or whatever it may be. Like, if at first I would agree with you, but I think that truly this is her most cohesive body of work, to be completely honest with you. And I didn't think that off the first initial listen, but that's not how music always resonates with you. Sometimes it does grow. Sometimes when an artist does something different than what you're used to, you have to take that journey with them, as opposed to saying, oh, I want what I like from them. You could listen to any of these. Literally. They all exist. So I just think it's important to really give credit where it's due. And 1 month later, this is her best album. Like, I think unequivocally. A Kehlani that's true to herself is going to make the best possible music in this moment. And I think that that's what this album encapsulates. Like, anything prior to that, like, don't you feel a little cringe and toxic when she's like, that big always be problematic? Like, it's just like, ugh, like, I'm not saying that that's not how she felt in the moment, because she did, but like, it's dated almost. You know what I mean? Like, at least I don't want that for her. I want her to sing about exactly what is true to her. And that's what we got on Crash. And I can't wait to hear it live. I think that's another component that's really going to allow for you guys to realize that this album is her best album, when she puts a production together surrounding the music. I mean, she said it time and time again that this is a touring album. And Deep, when she does Deep live, I'm letting y'all know right now, I'm flying out of my shoes. If I could get a fucking ticket. Yo, when I tell you I was fighting in the queue for the Blue Water Road, bro, I was two-piecing hoes to get a ticket. And I didn't even get a front row seat. Everybody knows me, knows that if I'm going to a concert, the artist got to spit on me, because my energy is crazy. And when I be in the back, people be looking at me like I got 6 heads. So that's why. But that's besides the point, because David Ali sat behind me. So I was like, oh, okay. Maybe the seat was destined to be. The girl next to me was very nice. Her name was Kamali. She was by herself. And there was 2 girls in front of me that were presumably a couple. This is Blue Water Road night 1. 2 girls in front of me that was presumably a couple. 1 stud, 1 femme. 2 girls to the left of me that were presumably friends, another stud and femme, and 2 girls behind me that was like 2 femme girls. I was going up the whole concert, and the 2 in front of me started to feel away. So I'm like, what? And I addressed it during the show. And the stud was like, yeah, there is a problem. And I was like, how aren't we at a Kehlani concert to sing? Like, isn't that? Anyway, my whole vibe was killed. Then I was like, you know what? I feel like I deserve night two. So I went to night two. There was one seat in the front. I said I'd only go if the seat that I got was better than the one I had the night before. There was one seat in the front. It's $400 and some odd dollars. I was like, fuck. Am I gonna spend $400 for the same show? Sure did. And that was the night I ended up on stage. You see how that worked? You see how God worked? I'm telling you, I've been to a lot of concerts. I've been going to concerts since I was in high school. I'm 29 years old. Obviously, it's been a while since I've been in fucking high school. Been around all the fan bases. You name it, big artists, I've been there. And when I tell you Kehlani fans are different, nobody like them. I was sitting on gum going into the listening party because we was waiting outside, unbeknownst to me. When I got up, I was like, yo, is there gum on my ass? There was concrete gum that had probably been there for fucking a year that was stuck on my ass. And some girl I met that day wiped it off my ass. I was on all fours, perched like a dog, and she was scrubbing it. I'm telling you, Kehlani fans is, and on top of the fact that some of the baddest girls I've ever seen in my life. In my life. No cap. And it's crazy because they love me and I love them because I don't want them. They don't want me. It makes complete sense. Weirdly enough, I haven't been around as much lesbians as you would think. Like, I know that sounds crazy, but I remember I had a lesbian friend like a couple of years ago, and an OG gay came up to me. He was like, oh, you gotta be careful about those lesbians, you know? And I was like, what? Like, and I know the crux of Kehlani fans are lesbians. They're not all only lesbians, but like, that's for the most part who I've been interacting with, and they're fucking amazing. I love them. I think there's a misconception that lesbians hate all men, and like, sometimes it's true, and I ain't mad at them because sometimes I hate men too. But like, I think they meet me and they say, oh, he's a good man. And it like dispels that notion, you know? And we're very congruent. I love my Virgo. I love my Taya. Who else do I love? I don't want to air nobody else out, but everybody know I love them. Sydney, Anastasia. Who else? The one girl I met this most recent time, I forget her name, but she's so motherfucking bad, yo. I will put her picture up on the screen. Maybe I'll ask her if she wants her picture put up because her and her friend, they had the 8 signs. I'm trying to get 8 in confetti. Whoo! Them 2 girls. I'm telling you. So all in all, this Kehlani season has just been a roller coaster, to say the least, man. I mean, the signing was interesting. Great experience overall, but by like 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, it was so motherfucking hot out there, bro. I was stressed, to say the least. Like, we had to go up in that cafe and cool down a couple of times because, goddamn. And Kehlani had flight issues, so she was a little late. Because I remember at 1:50. Another thing I want to address. A lot of people was coming up to me, and they were like, yo, you got here at 4. You got here at 4. Y'all don't think I didn't want to get there at 1:59, right before the doors? Like, I got there at 4 because Kiana got there at 4 in LA. I was like, oh, okay, if people's is going there at 4 a.m., shit, I gotta make sure nobody gonna be in front of me. I ain't want to be there that early, but for Kehlani, I will. Sure will. And she saw my arm, as you can see. And to the bitch or nigga that has something to say about Kehlani signing my arm, fuck you. My body, my choice. Like, y'all are really for real. But all in all, Kehlani was everything in all, as she typically is. This is my second interaction with her. I was a little bit nerve-wracked just because I was the first in line, and when I walked in, the whole team was there, obviously, and it was just like, oh shit. I was taken aback a bit. But yeah, she was gracious. She signed every vinyl, and not just for me, but for everybody. I know her fucking hand hurt like shit by the end of that day. But that's one thing about Kehlani. Since the inception of her career, she's really had a propensity to meet the people, talk to them, do meet and greets. Like, there's a lot of things that I think go over y'all head with the rollout, and she left no stone unturned with this one. I mean, just golly. I don't even say words like golly, but goddamn, one of the best rollouts I've seen as of recent, if not the best rollout. Truly. As far as my order of best to not even worse, because there's not one bad song on this project. I'm not gonna hold y'all. Y'all not might like what I have to say, but it's my list. We'll start from the bottom. Lose My Wife. Lose My Wife is not a bad song. There's not one bad song on this project, but something has to be the worst or my least favorite song. And what makes that Lose My Wife is the mere fact that it's fictitious. Like it felt like an outro song. It felt like credits. And it served its purpose. I like the song, but it's just like I like every other song more. Like that's really, it's still a 8, 9 out of 10 to me. But that's number 13 for me. I would say number 12 is probably gonna have to be Susia. Oh, I know I hurt some of y'all feelings just now. Oh, I love Susia, but think about it. There's one verse entirely in Spanish. And not that I can't connect with music that's not in my language. By no means is that even relatively close. But just if it has one drawback, that's probably it. Still love the song. And I translated what Young Miko was saying. Nasty. I've been a nasty girl. Anyway, that's number 12. Number 11, this is where it starts to get hard because every other song is like a 9 out of 10 to me. No cap. I would probably say number 11 would have to be maybe, oh fuck, this is so hard, bro. I don't know. Damn. All right, I gotta pick one. It gotta be what I want. Oh, I know somebody was like, what the fuck? That's Taya's favorite song, and I just put it at 11. Again, I love What I Want. It's just every other song. Or maybe Vegas. Maybe I'll swap it with Vegas. Okay, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna put Vegas at number 11, whatever number we're at, and then 10 would be What I Want. Because, yeah, I love What I Want. Okay, we at 9. 9 would probably be Better Not. That's number 9. Number 8, Groove Theory. Number 7, Next to You, right? I would say so. Number 7. Number 6, this is getting mighty difficult. I would probably say Crash. Number 5, After Hours. Number 4, Tears. 3, 8. 2, what's the one song I'm missing? Oh shit, I put Chapel a little high. Chapel I moved down. Chapel's right in the middle for me, but my number 1 is Deep. That's unequivocal. That's the only thing I knew before I made that list. Shit, this whole probably changes daily as I listen to the album, but that's how we feeling today, I'd say. Crash, I want to talk about very briefly because I think another thing that goes over y'all head is just how adept Kehlani is at this. She's a daughter of all these greats. Brandy, a singer, is what I'm alluding to, and a self-titled, not a self-titled, excuse me, the album is not named Kehlani, but title track is something that I feel is of yesteryear in some capacity. I love when an artist taps into just that full body of work feel that this is. It's inspired, it has a beginning, it has an end, a title track. Uh, yeah, I can't give her a tens enough. I really can't give her tens enough. I really can't. Uh, Susia, Kehlani, I have a question. Is that a double entendre? Come with me. Come with me. Maybe we'll get that answered one day. Do I have any other inquiries about any songs on this album? 8. How is 8 such a nasty song and there's not one curse word in there? I mean, a writer? Can we talk about it? Not only is she a singer, but she's a writer. She writes. I mean, I could just go on and on and on and on and on, truthfully. Yeah, man. Crash, in due time, I would say, will, in a couple of, not even years, months, I think really resonate with those that it hasn't up until this point. I'm at a loss for words as it pertains to the artistry, her willingness to make her art and her activism congruent. Let's also talk about that. I mean, she's been unwavering since the beginning of her career. This isn't as of recent. Like, she's not new to this. She's true to this. I remember when Can I dropped with that man, and this is before we knew what happened with the shooting, and Kehlani yanked that feature off. I said, oh, that's when I knew something was fishy. I don't know if y'all know, but it's very hard to get an artist off of a song. There's contracts and all types of things. Like, that was not an easy feat for her, but she said, no, I'm standing on business. And guess what she did? Stood on business in true Kehlani fashion. Like, her resume, her record, it speaks for itself. Like, there's really nothing else that I think you can expect from her going forward. Like, that's what I think her fans, myself included, love so much about her. Her consistency. Like, you know what you're getting from her. There's no smoke and mirrors. It's just raw truth. When you hear songs like Deep, that emotion, like, it doesn't have as much engineering as you guys think. Of course it does, but she's singing in there. Like, you can't fake that emotion. Same on Next to You. Like, it's so visceral. And I'm at a loss for words. I really am. Just talking about her, I could go on for days, like I said, truthfully. But that's all the time that we have today. I just want to thank you guys for tuning in, tapping in. Obviously, this is a solo show, so this one's a little bit different. Look out for the next episode of the Quid Pro Bro Show. We're actually shooting it very soon. But I just want to express my thankfulness, my gratitude towards all of you guys, and this is only the beginning. Sayonara, motherfuckers.